I think we'll get started. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning for our webinar on how to make the most of Scotland Starts Here. Just a few quick housekeeping things. Please keep yourselves on mute. That will be fantastic. You don't need to keep your cameras on if you're more comfortable to have it off. That's completely fine. We will be recording the webinar. So we will make the recording available afterwards, as well as the presentation for you to come back to that if you have any questions at all about anything that we talk about. We've got some time at the end for any questions, queries, ideas as well. So please feel free to pop your questions into the chat box until then, and we will address those at the end. Fabulous. I'll just share my screen and then we can get started. So I think many of you will know me already. I'm Vanessa. I'm the marketing manager at SSDA, the South of Scotland Destination Alliance. So I am tasked with looking after all things Scotland Starts Here, looking after our website, our social channels, our marketing campaigns, press, PR, everything that is all about us shouting about the South of Scotland to Scotland, the UK, and the rest of the world. So one of the most fun bits of our activity, I would say. I also get to share everything that you as business owners do in the region with the world. So yeah, really fantastic. So for those of you who are not super familiar with Scotland Starts Here, it's our face to the world. So SSDA, the Destination Alliance, very much about working business to business, supporting you with the nitty-gritty details of getting the strategy for the region right, looking at how we want to develop for the future. And then Scotland Starts Here comes into play when we want to market ourselves to potential visitors, to the consumers who we want to encourage to plan and book a trip to Dumfries and Galloway and the Scottish borders. We are online at scotlandstartshere.com, on social media at Discover South Scotland, and our hashtag is Scotland Starts Here. So if you're not following us yet, definitely have a look after the webinar and follow us on those channels. There's a few things I want to go through with you today to give you a better insight on how to make the most of the platform and everything that it stands for. So we're going to start off with the Scotland Starts Here website and app. I'll give you some information about our marketing plans for 2024. We're looking at promotional opportunities where you can get involved, and also some additional items for your business, things that are available for you to use that you might not be aware of just yet or might not know how to use. So we'll run through some of those. Starting off, the Scotland Starts Here website, as mentioned, we're online at scotlandstartshere.com, has all of the inspiration and information that visitors to the south of Scotland need to plan and book their visit. It also has lots of travel inspiration, events listings, and of course, it hosts all of our business listings as points of interest. So that's really where your business sits when you sign up as a member of the SSDA to promote you to our web visitors. Now, looking at how many website views we've had just in January, we're now up to almost 52,500 for the month of January. Looking to really grow that month on month and year on year is one of our biggest goals, to make sure that the reach of the south of Scotland goes well beyond Scotland and the UK. Another item that we have on the Scotland Starts Here website that is going to be of interest today is our travel trade directory, not geared towards consumers, but towards the travel trade, and a really, really crucial piece of information if you're looking to work with trade bodies, with international tour operators, etc. So we'll dive into that later on as well. The Scotland Starts Here app is our app for all of the inspiration on the go. It has all of the points of interest and business listings that are also on the website. However, it's very much geared towards people who are already in the south of Scotland. So as you're out and about and you're looking for ideas or what's nearby, What else could I do today? Is there something else that might really tickle my fancy and that might be of interest? It has, same as the website, our interactive map with a search function. It also has a variety of walking, cycling, and driving routes. Fantastically, it also has a favorites function to help people plan their day. And in addition, something that we don't have on the website as much is audio guides and local stories to dive deeper and really help people discover more about the destination. We've got over 25,000 downloads of the app to date. It's another item that we really want to push this year, raise local awareness for people when they are in the destination. So even if they are perhaps only spending a day or a short weekend, making sure they know there's so much to see as they're making their way through the south of Scotland. Now, the first item I think most important for all of you is, how do you manage your listing? It's very easy to sign up as a basic, core, partner, or bespoke member on the SSDA website. I've got my wonderful colleague Morag here, who's managing all things membership signups. You can, as you sign up, you then automatically send a listing request to Morag, and you will receive a magic Whereverly link via email to fill in your business information. That information on the back end has all of your basic details. You can add images, add details about features and facilities, accessibility, and of course, the travel trade if that is enabled. Once you've submitted your listing, that's all done, and within 24 to 48 hours, that all goes live on the website. Now, I would really like to take a few moments just to run through what that looks like on the back end for you and explain a bit about some of the changes that we're actually planning to make. So I'll just hop over to the Whereverly backend with a test listing that I've started on to show you that in a bit more detail. Right. So, should hopefully be able to see the Whereverly backend now. So what's really important about managing your listing on the back end is, one, to be accurate, to make sure that you tell your own story, so really bring your own character into it, and to also keep it up to date throughout the year. So obviously it has all the basic information right at the top. At the moment, I've just called it a test listing. I'm not going to make up a business name for it today. Adding your address, your location, and then if you happen to be in a more rural area, or perhaps you are a tour guide, you don't have distinct business premises, it's also possible to add that right on the map here to zoom in, zoom out, and drop a map pin where you are exactly located to make sure that people know exactly how to find you. You can then also specify your opening hours. If you do not have opening hours, maybe you have very flexible timings, all of that you can also pop in to the information here and then activate whichever days of the week you are open or closed. Really crucial, adding your primary image. That is what's being returned with all search results on the website. So that should really be the image that you want people to associate with your business. We always encourage businesses to use an image that, if you're, for example, an accommodation provider, perhaps an outside image, show what the building looks like. If you've got nice landscapes around it or a nice garden out front, something nice and colourful that's really enticing people to click on the listing. If you're a tour guide, if you're providing experiences, you might want to include yourself in that as well, just making sure that you're really showing off what you're offering in your business. And then, of course, we've got contact information. We have space for all of your social media handles. And then finally, we come to the tags and the categories. So the categories is where you decide where on the website your business will be found once it goes live. Your primary category So as I've mentioned, if you are an accommodation provider, we would really encourage you to select that as your primary category. If you provide food and drink, please select the food and drink category. And once you do that, you will automatically get an additional drop down that then lets you select additional categories. So if you're a food and drink business, you are operating a cafe, please tick the cafe and tea rooms category, or if you're a restaurant, please tick the restaurant option. Now, it's really important for the tags and categories that you're as accurate as possible about what your business is and not what it offers. What you offer, that is going into features and facilities at the top, and we will get to that in just a second. So as an example, you're a food and drink business, you're a cafe. So you're not necessarily a tourist information center or a library. So we will just ask that even if you perhaps have a corner with some books available or some magazines for people to browse, that you stick with your main offering, which in this case would be food and drink, and being a cafe. Now, of course, many businesses have multiple things that they offer, multiple aspects to the business itself. So if you are, for example, a hotel and you do have a restaurant on site that is open to non-residents, and perhaps you even have a spa on site that is also open to non-residents, then absolutely please do tick that in the additional categories as well, right here, making sure that you mention all of that. So if you're an accommodation provider, you're a hotel, do please tick that. Now, moving on to the next section, you can also upload additional images. What I would just want to point out here is that there are some restrictions on how many images you can upload based on your membership tier. So there are differences between basic, core, partner, and bespoke level. So please make sure that you check that as you upload all of that. Partner and bespoke members also have the opportunity to add a video to their listing. So that can be very easily done through adding the YouTube video URL. And then we get to features and facilities, where you can specify a whole variety of things that correspond to some of the items that we really focus on in our promotion and marketing. So first of all, one that was very important for us last year and will be important again for us this year are things like bike facilities. Do you have, for example, a bike rack, bike shelter, or secure storage, e-bike charging or washing equipment? That was something we really focused on in a lot of our promotional development around the UCI Cycling World Championships in the south of Scotland throughout the summer of 2023. With the soft launch and this year the launch of the Kirkpatrick C2C, the long distance route running from Stranraer to Eyemouth, we will once again be really on the lookout for businesses that can accommodate cyclists in a whole variety of ways. So if you have, for example, a bike rack as a cafe, you've got a bike rack out front, it's secure, and you maybe even have a bit of emergency repair kit for cyclists. We are running search queries on this entire database, always on the lookout for businesses offering exactly that, so that we can then point out to cyclists in blog posts, social media posts, and even press contacts, which businesses are really cycling friendly and potentially looking to attract more people from this market. So the more you fill in features and facilities, the more we can use this when we are in contact with our partners. We then are also looking to really up our promotions in terms of our pets allowed. We see more and more people really keen to go on holiday with their dogs, looking for dog-friendly accommodation, dog-friendly attractions, all of that. So again, we've got a small section here saying, our pets welcome. Please do let us know. If we reach critical mass on that this year, we would be really keen to develop some new content and sections on the Scotland Starts Here website, telling people yes, the south of Scotland is fantastically dog friendly. Please do bring your pets along. Please bring your four-legged friends. They will feel right at home. Then, of course, food and drink. Do you offer any dietary options? Do you cater to vegans, for example? And then, do you have any awards and ratings? Just last year, towards the end of last year, we created some new sections in here to really point out that we have our own regional Thistle Awards now, the South of Scotland Thistle Awards. So anybody who is a regional winner is getting a lovely tick in here, and we do use that as well to create blog posts and much more. If you find yourselves as part of the biosphere, you can also tick that. We actually have an entire page on Scotland Starts Here dedicated to biosphere businesses to really point out how fantastic the offering is over there. So if you are a business with a biosphere certification, please make sure that you've got that so that we can add you to the correct section on the website. There are also some of the Visit Scotland welcome schemes. If you have completed these in the past, for example, Anglers Welcome or Cyclists Welcome, then we would also encourage you to please point that out to us, because we always want to make sure we are aligned with what Visit Scotland points out on their website, and make sure that we really feed that back to our consumers as well. In terms of accommodation specific, we've also got some new functionalities to add if you have spa facilities, swimming pools, etc. So even if you have a hot tub, for example, you're a self-catering provider, we find a lot of people are now really searching for that extra offering when they are planning their next trip away. So it might be that for Valentine's Day, we're looking to highlight self-catering accommodation with a really nice hot tub, or with additional facilities that we know couples are looking for. Perfect. We can run a search on our database. We will find your business and it will be up for inclusion in that. The final item we have for the Scotland Starts Here listings is accessibility. Now, a lot of businesses might think, oh, I'm not accessible, but actually what we have found in a lot of the research that we've done with partners that we have worked with is that accessibility is on a spectrum. So you might find that you are accessible to certain target groups, perhaps not to all of them. So we would be really encouraging you to have a look at the accessibility section on Scotland Starts Here and look at what you might be able to offer. Do you have wheelchair access, even if it's just partial? You can absolutely specify that and then go into detail in your description of your business. Do you have perhaps a wet room in your accommodation that could be suitable to people with accessibility requirements? Just think of older people who are still going on holiday, perhaps even traveling with families. They might need a level entry shower, even if they are not using a wheelchair. So do have a look. We always encourage businesses to fill this in because we really want to make sure that, again, this year, as we develop new content, we feed accessibility information into that and showcase the South of Scotland as an accessible destination as well for people with a whole variety of needs. Once you've filled all of this in, nice and easy, you can either save as a draft if there's information that you want to come back to later, or you can just submit it for review. It then pings over a lovely email to either myself, Morag, or someone else on the team. We're going to have a look. If there's anything that we notice that might be missing, where we think, oh, you might like to have another look at the accessibility section, we'll get in touch with you. And otherwise, the listing will be set live, as I mentioned, within 24 to 48 hours. Right, hopping back to the presentation. There we go. So I've mentioned that there are things that are going to change, but what exactly is changing. We have had a lot of feedback from you as businesses over the past year, especially with the new additions we did for the UCI Cycling World Championships and other events. We want to make sure that you can showcase your business as best as possible. So we have had feedback that we should really add some new categories. And that is exactly what we're doing over the next 2 weeks. So for arts and culture, we will be adding new categories for venues, including music venues, event venues and arts venues, workshops, and also galleries, splitting them out from previously sitting with museums. For tours and experiences, we will be introducing a new category specifically for tour guides. For food and drink, we are introducing a new category for farm shops and local producers, because we recognize that agritourism is really a growing item in the south of Scotland and something that we're fantastically good at. So we should be shouting about it a lot more. We're also adding a new category for indoor activities, one for specifically spas and well-being, as we've seen quite a few developments on that in the region, swimming pools, leisure centres, and of course ice rinks, which have been part of our latest seasonal campaign as well. For outdoor activities, we are adding water sports to reflect a lot of the new product developments coming this year, everything from the Tweed Canoe Trail to stand-up paddle boarding, kayaking, and surfing. We're also adding new options for horse riding, fishing, and country sports to make it easier for website visitors to navigate to these activities. For family attractions, we are adding specifically play parks and soft play, and we're also adding an entire category for working farms and farm activities, again to reflect the growing offering for agritourism in the south of Scotland. So these are some hopefully really helpful additions for all of you. In addition to that, we're also developing new destination pages. Now, if you have attended any of our locally led destination development meetings over the past 2 weeks, you might have heard already my colleague Sarah Gowan and of course our CEO David have been talking about how we want to represent the different areas in the south of Scotland a lot better and a lot stronger. So the south of Scotland will be divided into 14 areas, with everything from the Berwickshire coast to the Rins of Galloway, and lots of places in between. I've got an example of these pages as well, so I apologize for a bit of jumping around today with, with my browser, but I'm really keen that you all get a really proper view of what these pages are going to look like and how you can give input. So, how will all of this look on the website? I'm going to start off with what is the new navigation going to look like. I've mentioned we've got quite a few new categories incoming, and of course we want to make it as easy as possible for our website visitors to find them. This means we will be moving away from our current drop-down menu of people having to click into each of them to discover more, and instead moving towards what is called a mega menu, with all options being visible all the time. So I've already said we are splitting out history and heritage into history and heritage and then arts and culture, so that museums and art galleries do not sit together anymore, and also to reflect just how colourful actually the south of Scotland is in terms of working artists, storytellers, and of course our textile heritage. For adventure and outdoors, we will be focusing one section a lot more on actual activities like walking, cycling, horse riding, golf, water activities, and additional sports activities that we already provide a lot for visitors. And then adding an additional section specifically on nature and wildlife to further highlight our coasts and waters, our dark sky park designation, and also the dark sky and stargazing opportunities right across the south of Scotland. We will also be giving further visibility to our forests and nature reserves, our wildlife and animals, and also to some of the scenic views available in the region. Food and drink, very much similar to what it is at the moment. However, as I mentioned, everything visible at once, from breweries and distilleries right to the farm shops and the local produce that I mentioned. Some additions for tours and experiences. I've already said we've got the new addition for tour guides. We will also be developing a specific section on food and drink experiences to reflect some of the farm food experiences that we have, some of the cookery schools that we have, and also some of the up-and-coming new products for the year. And then 2 of our best performing sections on the website, the Southwest Coastal 300 and the Kirkpatrick C2C, retaining their front and center visibility as they do at the moment, to continue attracting lots of people. And then, of course, we have our family fun and farm visits. So quite a few additional categories, but really to reflect how much Scotland Starts Here has grown since it was first created 4 years ago. And we really hope that people will find the perfect section for their business to appear in and to be able to really maximize the visibility for themselves. For accommodation, we are adding a section on hostels and bunkhouses, again, because we have seen quite a few new developments here. And we will also be developing additional highlight sections, looking at luxury stays, looking at pet-friendly accommodation, as I mentioned, dependent on us reaching critical mass on the Scotland Starts Here database, with reveille of accommodation providers filling in this type of information. Places to go, that is the interesting one for the destinations and areas. So we will be creating a landing page for each of the areas in the south of Scotland, from Annandale and Eskdale to the Tweed Valley, the Machars, Selkirkshire. There will be a landing page for each area. We will be working with a wonderful functionality that will automatically pull businesses in this area onto those landing pages as well. So each landing page will first of all give an introduction to the area. It will then highlight some of the key items, whether that is a local destination group that would like some visibility, for example, Go Tweed Valley for the Tweed Valley, and then offer the opportunity for visitors to click into View All Businesses from this area. So if somebody travels to the south of Scotland, they know they are planning to go to the Galloway Forest Park, to the heart of Galloway. They can click right into that page and then discover everything that is on offer there, and near their accommodation. We will also be looking at developing a section on popular places. So we have seen a lot of interest increasing more and more in the UNESCO biosphere, very much due to them achieving the cool status with National Geographic, and lots of highlights in the news very recently. The River Tweed and the River Tweed Trail that is currently in development, and of course the Galloway Forest Park with its dark sky park status, and other offerings. So we will be very much looking at developing additional content to sit alongside that, to make it as easy as possible for potential visitors to find the information they need. Plan Your Trip is a section that we currently have on Scotland Starts Here, very much stays the same. The only thing changing is that we will be giving more visibility to responsible visitor access, but also to driving and car hire, pointing out electric charging points and local car hire businesses to make sure that people have the opportunity to come into the destination with more responsible means of transport, and then working with local businesses. Our event section stays the same as it is, and I will get to that at the very end of this webinar. And then our Get Inspired section, which you might know at the moment as our blog, also very much stays the same. Our itineraries and routes are moving into this section. We're keeping our blog, always developing new content for that. And then, of course, our new pages to discover the seasons and come to the south of Scotland all year round are also right here. Whenever we're developing some new highlights, they will also sit on the right side of this. So whether it's, for example, Valentine's Day again coming up, we might have some highlights in the navigation talking about romantic stays or romantic stories from the region. So this is really quite exciting. I hope you are as excited as I am. It's been a lot of work, but hopefully will be really helpful for businesses. So what are our marketing plans beyond these changes to the website for 2024? I've already mentioned we have done quite a lot of activity with our seasonality campaign. We collaborated with Visit Scotland in the autumn on a campaign with DFDS Seaways, which are the ferries coming into Newcastle, to promote touring holidays to Scotland, to specifically the German market. We then had our winter activity, telling everybody winter starts here, and you can find endless adventures all year round in the south of Scotland. And we're now gearing up for launching the spring activity as part of that, again, to promote seasonal stays and short trips. The fantastic results of the campaigns to date. The Visit Scotland campaign ran from October to November. They more than doubled the anticipated web visits. We thought we would see about 700 additional visits to the website, but actually it was 1.6 thousand. We also achieved 1.2 million impressions across platforms. So from the Facebook and Instagram ads that we ran to some of the display advertising, we saw some really fantastic interest from the German market to see the south of Scotland. Now, endless adventures all year round, the winter activity. We have seen over 3,000 visits to the campaign page and its related pages. You might have spotted our winter bucket list on social media and on the website as well. We also had quite a bit of PR and blogger activity. We welcomed, among others, Robin McKelvey for a January visit to Selkirk and the Berwickshire coast. And we have also been working on advertorial activity with a feature in Dumfries and Galloway Life, highlighting seasonal stays in the south of Scotland, and also are working at the moment on a Visit Scotland collaboration for the springtime with a variety of online outlets. So even though the campaign is still running, we have already achieved more than triple the campaign target on impressions right across social media platforms. And we're looking forward to keeping this activity running over the year if we see the interest from businesses, so from yourselves, continue as well. But what's planned for spring? It's just around the corner. It's already quite warm. The snowdrops are coming through, and I've even spotted some daffodils already. So we consulted members and tourism businesses. Some of you might have been there over the last year as well, giving input on our seasonal priorities for spring, summer, autumn, and winter. For spring, one of the really big priorities that came through was agritourism. How can we make more of the fact that we are a rural destination with a rural offering? And to that end, we are working closely with Scottish Agritourism and Go Rural. So we are in talks with them how we can integrate some of their plans, some of their spring activity into our activity. Of course, we're also looking at gardens, landscapes, and scenery, making sure that we really integrate all of our fantastic botanic gardens, estates, and parks coming back to life. We will also be looking a lot at cycling for all and the launch of the Kirkpatrick C2C. You might have heard the official signage for the route is going into the ground at the moment. The expectation is that this is finished in mid-March, which means we will have a bit of a celebration then to really show off the fantastic, fantastic route. We'll also be looking at spring event highlights, everything from Spring Fling, which fantastic annual event in Dumfries and Galloway with lots of artists opening their studios and workshops, to Easter family events right across the region. And then, of course, always looking for accommodation and food and drink highlights that will be part of the campaign, making sure we highlight that seasonal offering. Now, if you have a seasonal story, a seasonal offering, we're really, really keen to hear about that. And we really rely on you as businesses to get in touch with us. Just as an example, we have almost 2,000 points of interest listed on Scotland Starts here on our database. So this is, of course, not just businesses, it's also everything from ruins, from scenic views, to tourist information centres, etc. It just simply means that unfortunately we can't keep up to date on every business's news every week. So if there is something that you think this is really worth Vanessa having a look at, Morag having a look at, and the team knowing about, please send us an email, especially if it's spring, summer related, because we're planning right now. I wanted to give you a quick first look at our spring landing page, which is in development at the moment. So we were able to develop this with our creative agency Intimation just over the last week. So really talking about, you know, spring arriving in the south of Scotland, landscape bursting into bloom with bluebells, snowdrops and daffodils across the landscape, and then going straight into some of the topical highlights that I've already mentioned. As for winter, we will once again be looking to develop a spring bucket list, looking at some of the key items. So whether that might be visiting a local artist workshop or taking a photo of some of the bluebell woodlands that we have in the region, there will be a whole variety of items featured on there. We're really keen for businesses to share our activity on their own social media channels. So if you do come across any of our promotions or any posts that you think this will be helpful for my guests, for my visitors, do share away. Or if you have a nice photo of your own walks out and about and you say, well, this is the perfect spring scene from the region, please tag us in your posts at Discover South Scotland or hashtag Scotland Starts Here, so that we can include it on our own channels as well and say, look how fantastic the season is in the south of Scotland. Beyond spring, of course, summer follows hot on its heels, and we've got quite a few announcements and new products coming for that season as well. Last year, the summer was all about cycling. As I've mentioned, the UCI World Championships. This year, we're really quite keen to make more of outdoor activities overall. Beyond cycling, we know hill walking, massively popular. We also know our coasts and waters are really unparalleled, while other parts of Scotland will be struggling with lots and lots of visitors wanting to explore the lovely coastal villages, lochs and beyond. We are relatively quiet, but we also have designated areas perfect for wild swimming, for surfing, for canoeing and kayaking. So we will be really keen to develop new content on that theme. Summer is also the time for touring, so we will be quite keen to encourage more people passing through the south of Scotland to turn off and make the most of whether that is the Southwest Coastal 300, whether that is some of the shorter routes over in the Scottish borders, or even just embarking as part of their outdoor activities on the Borders Abbey's Way or on some of our other routes. We're also really keen for summer event highlights. Obviously, we will have some music events returning, and once again, seasonal food and drink. We know we've got amazing seafood in the region, and of course for accommodation too. Moving towards autumn, we heard from businesses really keen to highlight some of the equestrian activities, highlighting nature and wildlife that you can spot in the region, and also looking at our heritage around literature and storytelling, with the book festivals starting at the very end of summer and then onwards into autumn, looking at our local book towns, our local book shops, and of course also looking at some of the stories within our landscapes that we've already highlighted as part of the Year of Stories, but should really be developing further now. So if you as a business or as an individual have a really great story that you think we need to know about that we haven't heard before, let us know. We love to get new ideas. So promotional opportunities for you to get involved with. We've got even more things going on, and I hope some of them will really excite you. The SSDA works regularly with press and media outlets right across the year. Our main goal is to maximize coverage for the region. So no matter where you're based, no matter what your business offering is, we get your stories and news in front of the right audience at the right time. We work with press support at Beeline, who work up monthly and seasonal press roundups and media bundles. So, for example, working on our spring roundup right now, we're looking at event highlights, collating some of the key images, key video materials, and also key offers that we think will really resonate with our contacts, sending that out, following up every week, every few days. And when we see interest from any of our contacts, whether that is for a press strip, for a feature, anything, we then follow that up, put them in touch with the businesses and provide any additional information. We also regularly work on media pitches to national, international, and specialist titles. Just as an example, last year we worked extensively with specialist cycling titles who were really interested in being the absolute first people to write the Kirkpatrick C2C, who contacted us saying, we need to know about cycle-friendly cafes, about cycle-friendly accommodation right along the route, because that is what our readers want to know about. So we organized some trips, but we also provided lists of businesses that they can then feature in the articles if they didn't have time to stop at, for example, 5 cafes for a nice cake or scone throughout the day. They could still be mentioned in other ways. We also have a regular program of press visits with key titles and contacts. Because we are quite a small team, we only have 5 people at SSDA, me being the main person with some support in marketing. We try to have as many visits as possible, but not too many to make it difficult to manage. Last year, we saw about 12 press visits, so 1 a month. We are very much aiming towards having a similar amount of press visits this year to really keep the attention on the region and on the south of Scotland. We did press visits, as I've already mentioned, for cycling. We also worked with, who you see in the picture right here, Amy Lynch from Lonely Planet. She came across from Ireland to look at slow travel out of season. So she visited in late autumn last year. She walked part of the Southern Upland Way from Stranraer all the way into the Galloway Forest Park, being accompanied by some of the biosphere businesses, being accompanied by some of the rangers working in the area. So really, really taking in this part of the country and coming away and saying, this is fantastic. And, you know, she planned to write 1 piece for Lonely Planet about us, but actually she ended up writing 2 just because she enjoyed it so much. We also do a lot of influencer engagement and support as part of our campaigns. Try to be really quite strategic about that as well. So looking at sustainable travel, slow travel, making sure the influencers we work with have a really vested interest in the things we offer. For the Year of Stories, we worked with a blogger who is specifically interested in literary travel, who likes to really showcase the books that she has read in the landscapes where they are set. We have also worked with dog-friendly influencers showing off dog-friendly accommodation in the Maccas. So lots and lots of opportunities there. And if you as a business are interested in getting a journalist or an influencer to your business, and you think, actually, I have something new, I have something fresh that could work really well with some of the things that have been mentioned today, again, please let us know so that we can integrate that where possible. Just over the last month, over the month of January, we were able to generate 171 pieces of press coverage across a variety of outlets, online and offline. So we had a total press reach of almost 814 million. And we're really, really trying to keep it going and to work as hard as possible to keep the south of Scotland front of mind for people. We're also, as I've mentioned, developing quite a bit of content on the Scotland Starts Here website. We regularly create new blogs, social media posts, and newsletters. That is very much informed by trends, by the user interests, and also by our ongoing campaign strategies. So for spring, for example, we will definitely have a focus for new blogs on agritourism and farm experiences, but we will also be looking at your typical seasonal food and seasonal views. For the other blogs and content that we develop, however, they always have to follow certain key themes or topics. We want to make sure that every piece of content that we develop helps us establish our regional unique selling points. So every piece of content really has to be about, why is the south of Scotland different from other places in Scotland? Why should you come here and not somewhere else? It should also really provide inspiration to people reading and engaging with the content. So whether that is a fantastic image that really gets people going, oh, where is that? I have to see that for myself. It should ideally tie into current events or holidays. We've mentioned Valentine's Day quite a bit today, but of course there are plenty other holidays and celebrations that we have in the south of Scotland with the common ridings that we hope in the future to also be able to develop content on things like the rugby sevens. We know we've got fantastic rugby history in the region, and also building recognition for key themes that we know we do incredibly well and perhaps better than anybody else in Scotland. Literature, just one of them. We've got Sir Walter Scott, we have Burns, but we also have currently the Book Town, the book festivals, so really a wealth of experiences on offer. Now, if you have an idea and you want to give input, maybe you've got a local tip or a story, yes, we would absolutely love to hear from you. As an example, late last year, we were contacted by Geoffrey Lindop, who has written a fantastic local book about stargazing and how to make the most of the Galloway Forest Dark Sky Park. So we work with Geoffrey on some seasonal blogs to highlight stargazing tips and what to see at what time of the year. So you might say, oh, I'm fantastic. I'm an authority on wild swimming, and I know that you're working on coastal and water content for the summer. So we might be able to work with you on a blog post highlighting some of the best wild swimming spots that we are confident people would enjoy. Or you are really fantastic at spotting wildlife, and actually you can recommend some of the locations where to spot some of the animals in the south of Scotland. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to work with you on something like that. Coming on to travel trade, and that is very much Morag's domain, so I'm very glad that we've got her here today as well, and I would encourage you to get in touch with her. Now, the travel trade is really a key route to growing your business. The SSDA acts as an intermediary, so we work with a variety of distribution networks, providers, and we also go to events, everything from Visit Scotland Connect to some of the big shows down in London and even in Germany. Now, travel trade ready businesses, so if you already have some packaged up products that you want to take to these providers, whether it's for FIT, it might even be for the mice market, it could be for large groups. We have a database specifically for trade partners. That gives you additional space, so it's separate to your Scotland Starts Here listing. And I will show you that in just a second. It gives you space for an elevator pitch, showing off your business highlights, your key experiences, your trade contact, how these operators can get in touch with you. And it also gives you the opportunity to list your capacities. Now, right here on the left, you can see just a bit of a screenshot of what that looks like. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the travel trade directory just now to give you a better idea of what it looks like. Right. So when you go to the Scotland Starts Here website, at the very bottom in the footer, there is a lovely button there saying travel trade. This is what we point all of our travel trade contacts to when they want to discover more about what businesses offer. Appointments at events quite often are only 10 to 15 minutes long. So unfortunately, we can't cover all of the hundreds and hundreds of businesses that we work with on a day-to-day basis. This entire section is very much tailor-made for these businesses, for these partners. It has travel trade brochures, it has collections and itinerary suggestions, and then it has our travel trade directory right here. This is what these partners can then click into, and it gives them a list of all the businesses that are in some way or in some capacity ready to work with them. They can then click into these listings. Let's, for example, go for Blatnoff Distillery right here. As we go into this, it gives you a bit of information. What is their key offering? And then you can see here, what's the experience that they can tailor to these groups. And you can see there's a capacity of up to 35 people. It's quite a large group. A lot of operators will be really looking for that type of information. If I'm bringing a bus of people to the south of Scotland, we are on our way to perhaps another village in the far west of Dumfries and Galloway. Where could we stop off? Oh, fantastic. We could stop off at Blatnoff Distillery for a tour and tasting. They can accommodate this, and it also fits with our timing plans. It then also has the contact details. They know the parking facilities are suitable for coaches, and it can even be provided in a variety of languages if they're coming from further afield. Now, the travel trade isn't just for businesses that can accommodate large groups. It's also suitable for smaller businesses, for self-catering accommodation. So looking, for example, air houses in Lauder, very much suitable for smaller accommodation providers. And again, with the FIT market, for example, they're looking for something that's a bit different. So in the about section, make sure that you point out, what's special. Air houses here, very, very expertly saying they're located just next to the farm. They've got pet animals to meet. There's lots of wildlife to spot. There is also great accessibility. So again, they know exactly that there are companies in the FIT market that will be looking for exactly this kind of different offering. So this is a quick look at what the travel trade listings can offer you. And I would encourage you, if you're interested, get in touch with Morag. She will give you a much better insight than I just have. And once you have completed some of the travel trade training and assessments, you will be ready to go to work with this market as well. Now, what are some of the other bits and bobs for your business that you can grab and just go away to use in your own promotions and marketing? Last year, we launched some fantastic new collateral. We have new print posters, maps for the Southwest Coastal 300, table talkers to put on in rooms, and of course, window clings as well. Each of the posters has a QR code that points right to the Scotland Starts Here website. The Southwest Coastal 300 maps also have a QR code going to the digital map on the Scotland Starts Here website. And then the table talkers point to our app so that people can easily download it and start planning their day. We have two fantastic freelancers, Eleanor and Stuart. Eleanor traveling around Dumfries and Galloway, Stuart traveling around the Scottish borders, distributing some of these, but we also have some of them available with key locations throughout the region. So if you don't have any of these yet, we can hook you up with either a distribution point or a contact for Stuart and Eleanor. Let us know if you would like some of them. One item that we're really keen for more businesses to make the most of is our media library. Now, the Scotland Starts Here Media Library was set up 2 years ago. It now gives members free access to over 500 images of the south of Scotland. Whether you're looking for landscapes, for towns, for activity imagery, or for something seasonal, we've got it on there. If you're looking for something different that's not represented, let us know. We take your needs into account when adding and developing new content. If you're not quite sure where the media library is and how it works, one, I'm going to send a link out after the webinar so that you can sign up, but also I'm going to show you right now what it looks like so that you know how to work it. Right. So our media library is run on a platform called Crowdriff. You can see up here, this is the URL that I'm going to send out to you later. When you click on this for the very first time, you are going to come to a login screen that says, do you have an account? If not, please fill in this information. Once you've filled that in, it's going to ping an email right away to myself. And I will then give you access to the back end and to the media library itself. As an SSDA member, this is what you're going to see. So it tells you a bit on the left, when using the Media Hub, please check and make sure that you adhere to the usage guidelines and the copyright. So the only thing we ask of you when you use all of these images is that you just put a little note somewhere saying, oh, I got this from SSDA. That's it. There's a few options on how to view the content. We have divided everything into albums. So whether you're looking for activities, food and drink, history and heritage, perhaps you're looking for a specific town, or you want to promote the Kirkpatrick C2C because you're a cycle-friendly business. Let's hop into history and heritage. You then get this really nice big folder of a whole variety of locations that might be of interest to you, whether you're planning to write your own blog posts, maybe you want to put a nice social media post out saying, oh, my B&B is really close to Jedburgh Abbey. You definitely have to come visit the town. Look at this amazing view. As you click into each image, it's going to give you key information about where it is. So the image title right here tells you it's in Jedburgh, and it also tells you right here, credit, please just let people know that you got it from the SSDA. You can then either select it or download it and then use it straight away on your own channels. You can also very handily use a search function. Crowdriff has a really fantastic search function. We do our absolute best to keep things organized and tagged. So for example, you really want a coastal view. Let's see if we've got something nice in here. Search for the word coast, and it then returns images with everything that Crowdriff's understanding as being near the coast, on the coast, or including a beach. And you've got a really nice variety here. We've got Port Patrick on the left. We have St. Abbs over here. We have we've got Isle of Whithorn right here as well. So a really nice variety of images. Even if you're not 100% sure what it is you need, if you just look for the keyword, it's very likely that you're going to find something that will be of help. So I hope it will be easy to use for you. I will send out the link afterwards, but if you have any struggles at all, please get in touch with me and I will get you sorted with everything you need. Right, just a couple more items before we have time for questions. We've also created a new events listing functionality on Scotland Starts here. So if you're running an event, you can very easily increase exposure by listing it on Scotland Starts here. You just have to head to scotlandstartshere.com, click onto the event section, and there is a submit your event button right there to fill in your information. Once again, the notification then comes straight through to myself and the team. We have a quick look, make sure everything's in there. There's an address, there is a ticket link, all of that, and then you're good to go. Within 24 to 48 hours, your event's going to be live on the Scotland Starts Here website. We use that for our press and PR outreach. in our roundups and also in our blog posts and social media posts. So if there's really fantastic events coming up, we create a monthly What's On blog, talking about, oh, what are some of the spring events happening? What are perhaps some of the summer events coming up? Linking back to all of the listings and to yourself. So this brings us very much to the end of my presentation. Please be social. Do follow us at Discover South Scotland or tag us on social media. We now have over 83,000 followers right across social media. And we're always really keen to see businesses' own impressions of the south of Scotland, of the region, to share that with all of these audiences. And now I'm really keen to hear from you if you have any questions or anything that you might find helpful for yourself.